The genies were summoned to bring the throne of the Queen of Sheba before her arrival, and they did so in record time, thus showcasing the greatness of Solomon. Welcome to the channel of Saudi Stories. Don't forget to subscribe. In ancient days, there lived a great prophet named Prophet Solomon, the son of the prophet David, may peace be upon them. Prophet Solomon was known for his wisdom, knowledge, and strength, and was endowed with numerous miracles, making him one of the greatest prophets in human history. His upbringing and inheritance of the throne. From a very young age, Prophet Solomon witnessed the miracles of his father, Prophet David, and learned from him the sciences of knowledge and wisdom. When he reached adolescence, Prophet Solomon inherited the throne of his father, David, may peace be upon him, and became a mighty king. Allah the Almighty granted him wisdom and insight, and he ruled his people with justice and equality, never showing favoritism to anyone and oppressing anyone. The Temple of Solomon is a sanctuary built by the Prophet Solomon in the city of Jerusalem in Palestine. This temple is considered one of the greatest architectural achievements attributed to Prophet Solomon and is an important symbol in world religions, particularly in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The temple was renowned for its beauty and the grandeur of its construction and was considered a sacred place for worship and proximity to God. The meaning and naming. The temple was a sanctuary built during the reign of King Solomon in Jerusalem and was known as the First Temple or the Temple of Solomon. It was constructed to be a place of worship and to house the Ark of the Covenant, which contained the tablets of the covenant that Allah gave to Moses, may peace be upon him. It was also a spiritual and cultural center for the children of Israel. Location of the temple. The temple was situated in the city of Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, the same mountain believed to be a sacred site in the three Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It is said that the very site itself was the location where the Temple Mount would later be built to house the Aqsa Mosque. Description of the Temple of Solomon. In terms of the details of its construction, the Temple of Solomon is described in the Torah in great detail in the books of 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles. The temple consisted of several main parts and was renowned for its grand architecture and intricate ornaments. It is said that the temple contained the Holy of Holies, the sanctuary. This was a room that housed the Ark of the Covenant containing the tablets of the covenant, which represented the spiritual center of the temple. The altar. It was a place dedicated to the sacrifice of animals and offerings to God, which is considered the most sacred place in the Tem. The Great Hall. This was a meeting place for the priests and worshippers. Ornaments. The temple was ornamented with gold, silver, precious woods, and numerous sculptures depicting cherubim, angelic creatures. Stages of the temple's construction. According to the Torah, Prophet Solomon began building the temple in the 4th year of his reign and took 7 years in total to complete it. He gathered precious materials such as gold, silver, precious woods, and summoned skilled engineers and artisans to help him execute this magnificent project. The Temple and World Religions. Judaism. In Judaism, the Temple of Solomon is a symbol of worship and proximity to God, and was a place where the Jews would come to offer sacrifices and prayers. The first temple, which was built during the reign of King Solomon, represented the unity of the Jewish people with God. After its destruction, the Jewish people waited for the construction of the Second Temple, which was also destroyed later. Christianity. In Christianity, the temple is also a sacred site in Christian history, as Christians believe that Jesus Christ visited the temple in Jerusalem in various periods of his life and taught about it in his teachings. Islam. In Islam, Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, which was built on the same site as the Temple of Solomon, is a sacred site. The Quran mentions that the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, ascended to heaven from Al-Aqsa Mosque, demonstrating its great importance in the Islamic faith. In Islamic interpretations, it is said that the Temple of Solomon was one of the foundations of the construction of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Destruction of the Temple. The first temple, after the death of Prophet Solomon, the temple suffered destruction at the hands of the Babylonians led by Nebuchadnezzar in 586 BC. The destruction of the first temple was a severe blow to the Jewish people. The second temple. After a period of exile in Babylon, the Jews returned to Jerusalem under the leadership of Zerubbabel in 538 BC and rebuilt the temple. This is known as the Second Temple. The Second Temple was destroyed by the Roman Empire in 70 AD under the leadership of Titus and was not rebuilt until the present day. The Temple in modern times. Today, there is no Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, but it is believed to have stood on the same site as the Haram al-Sharif or the noble sanctuary now, which contains the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. This region is the subject of a historical and religious dispute between different faiths. The idea of building the third temple remains a significant issue in Jewish religious circles, despite the many political and religious challenges it faces. Prophet Solomon's miracles with the genies were among the most impressive miracles that distinguished him from others, as the genies were part of his army and worked under his command with the will of Allah in fulfilling his orders in various fields. Here are some details of some of the miracles attributed to Prophet Solomon with the genies. 1. Subduing the genies to work on construction and building projects. God granted Prophet Solomon the power to subjugate the genies to work for him in building grand palaces and massive buildings. They worked tirelessly without fatigue or boredom. Some were tasked with extracting minerals from the depths of the earth, while others worked on preparing the materials needed for construction. As stated in the Quran in Surah Saba, "And we subdued for Solomon the wind, which carried the clouds, to a distant land." Saba, 12. The genies would bring to him the glass, copper, gold, and all the materials he needed to complete his architectural projects. 2. The genies flying with the wind. One of the most outstanding miracles attributed to Prophet Solomon is his ability to control the winds. The genies were commanded to work under his orders in the field of aerial transport. They would carry heavy loads and materials on their backs, flying through the skies with incredible speed. As stated in the Quran in Surah Sad, "And we blew into it through our command, and it became a creature with a firm form." Sad, 36. Prophet Solomon would walk in the wind with great speed, and the genies would carry heavy loads from one place to another in a very short time. 3. The genies and massive construction projects. One of the miracles attributed to Prophet Solomon was the power to subdue the genies to build grand structures. The genies were able to build grand palaces, complex buildings, and other massive architectural projects, including the magnificent palaces built on the shores of the sea. The genies were skilled in various fields, such as excavation, engineering, lifting, and transportation. As stated in the Quran in Surah Saba, "And of the devils some worked for him, and made for him whatever he desired." Saba, 12. Some genies would descend into the depths of the sea to collect precious pearls and coral, while others worked on building complex architectural projects. 4. Controlling the genies to undertake heavy tasks. One of the most impressive miracles attributed to Prophet Solomon was his ability to subdue the genies to undertake heavy tasks. The genies would work under his command to perform various tasks, often under extreme conditions and with great difficulty, and with great speed and precision. These were but a few of the numerous miracles attributed to Prophet Solomon with the genies, demonstrating the great power and authority that Allah granted him. They performed complex tasks under the commands of Prophet Solomon, such as crafting weapons, heavy tools, and even transporting enormous objects that humans could not carry. As mentioned in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Anbiya, "And we subjected to him the jinn who worked for him by the permission of his Lord." Al-Anbiya, 82. The jinn operated solely by the will and command of Allah, possessing the ability to carry out tasks that required extraordinary strength. 5. The arrival of the throne of Bilqis. One of the most renowned miracles during the time of Prophet Solomon was the fetching of the throne of Bilqis, the Queen of Sheba. Prophet Solomon had sent a message to the queen inviting her to embrace Islam. He then commanded the jinn to bring her throne before she arrived. Allah stated in Surah An-Naml, "A powerful being among the jinn said, I will bring it to you before you rise from your place, and indeed, I am for it strong and trustworthy." An-Naml, 39. However, a being possessing knowledge from the scriptures brought the throne in the blink of an eye before Solomon could even blink. This was one of the most magnificent signs that Allah displayed through Prophet Solomon, demonstrating the capabilities of the jinn to achieve what humans perceive as impossible. 6. Wisdom in dealing with the jinn. Prophet Solomon epitomized how to engage with the jinn. He knew how to guide and supervise their tasks with fairness. He distinguished between righteous and unrighteous jinn, issuing them specific commands for collaborative efforts in accomplishing various assignments. 7. Upholding integrity and obedience. Though the jinn worked under Prophet Solomon's command, he was ever vigilant in reminding them of their duty to obey Allah. He was aware that their service was by divine permission and consistently ensured he directed them towards good and justice. It is emphasized in the Quran that he did not succumb to pride in his power and authority but continually sought justice and righteousness in all his actions. 8. Punishment of the jinn. Not only did Prophet Solomon have miracles involving the jinn, but he also possessed the ability to punish those who defied his commands. Allah said in the Quran in Surah As-Saffat, "And we caused the wind to blow gently at his command wherever he directed." As-Saffat, 36. Thus, he could punish the jinn who disobeyed his orders, imposing severe penalties if they transgressed his commands. Among the miracles granted to Prophet Solomon, his interactions with animals stand as a prominent testament to Allah's greatness and his power to subjugate creation to serve humankind. Solomon had the ability to understand the languages of animals and communicate with them, employing these miracles in various situations. Here are some detailed accounts of Prophet Solomon's miracles involving animals. 1. Understanding animal language. One of the greatest miracles bestowed upon Prophet Solomon was his ability to comprehend the language of animals and converse with them. He could hear and understand what they expressed. This served as a powerful message to humanity that Allah is capable of utilizing all creatures for the service of his servants. The Quran narrates in Surah An-Naml how Prophet Solomon listened to the conversation of ants, when an ant warned its companions about Solomon's approaching army. An ant said, "O ants, enter your dwellings, lest Solomon and his soldiers crush you while they perceive not." An-Naml, 18. Solomon received this message with humility and understanding, subsequently declaring, "My Lord, grant me the ability to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteous deeds of which you will approve, and admit me by your mercy among your righteous servants." An-Naml, 19. 2. Interaction with birds. Prophet Solomon also had the ability to understand the speech of birds and commanded an army of birds that executed his orders. The hoopoe was among his most notable birds, playing a crucial role in delivering messages and carrying out commands. One time, the hoopoe was absent, drawing Solomon's ire and promising punishment if it lacked a justifiable reason. Upon its return, the hoopoe informed Solomon about the Queen of Sheba and her people, revealing that they failed to prostrate to Allah. The hoopoe stated, "I have encompassed in knowledge that which you have not encompassed, and I have come to you from Sheba with certain news." An-Naml, 22. This incident clearly demonstrates Solomon's ability to engage with birds and comprehend their communications. 3. Utilizing animals for service. Prophet Solomon utilized animals to serve humanity. He was capable of employing birds and other creatures to execute his commands. For instance, he could command an array of birds and animals, instructing them to carry out his directives. The birds would fly and transport items, whereas animals like sheep and camels aided in various tasks. 4. Mastery over ants. Among the notable miracles attributed to Prophet Solomon regarding animals was his command over ants. The Quran recounts the story of the ant warning its fellow ants about Solomon's army, conveying, "O ants, enter your dwellings, lest Solomon and his soldiers crush you while they perceive not." An-Naml, 18. Prophet Solomon's ability to communicate with ants highlights his extraordinary capability to subjugate all creatures for his service. 5. Army of animals in battle. Prophet Solomon commanded an army of animals, leading them as he would humans. At times, he would employ these animals in battles or military campaigns. He could guide them wherever he wished, and the jinn and animals worked in unison as part of his army. 6. Control over marine life. Among the miracles of Prophet Solomon was his command over marine creatures. The jinn could operate under his direction in the oceans, diving to fetch pearls, corals, and other treasures from the sea. He also had the ability to guide marine animals and work alongside them in aiding humankind. 7. The hoopoe and the Queen of Sheba. One of the most striking miracles concerning animals is the story of the hoopoe, who acted as a messenger between Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. The hoopoe carried a message from Solomon inviting her to embrace Islam. Upon its absence, Solomon expressed his anger, but the hoopoe returned bearing news about the queen, serving as the one who see this message from faraway lands. The hoopoe told Solomon, "Indeed, I found a woman ruling over them, and she has been given all things, and she has a mighty throne." An-Naml, 38. 8. The elephant incident. During one of the military campaigns undertaken by Prophet Solomon, he had the capacity to command large animals like elephants. These colossal creatures were part of his army, and he could direct them to fulfill specific objectives, whether for combat or other purposes. 9. Finding water sources. One of the miracles during the reign of Prophet Solomon was the bird's ability to locate sources of water. On one occasion, when his army was in a parched and barren place, Solomon commanded a bird to fly in search of water. The bird successfully identified a spring in the desert, rescuing the army from thirst. Prophet Solomon exemplified a just and wise ruler who sought the help of Allah in all his endeavors. He utilized his power and wisdom for the benefit of his people and the establishment of justice among them, conveying important messages through the grand miracles bestowed upon him by Allah. He continually guided people toward belief in Allah and righteous deeds, embodying an exemplary model for all nations. The story of Prophet Solomon with his people demonstrated that wisdom and intelligence do not contradict mercy and humility, rather, these qualities should harmonize in the persona of a great leader. I hope you find this video enjoyable. Please share specific ideas in the comments for us to present to you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Farewell, my friends.